Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, Performance Nutrition. In this week's video, I'm going to help you to understand carbohydrates, identify food sources of carbohydrate, and we're going to learn about carbohydrate requirements for athletes. Now this will be a part one of a two-part series on carbohydrates and athletic performance. My name's Fonda, a performance dietitian sharing my passion for and knowledge of evidence-based sports nutrition to help you reach peak health and performance. If you are new here, make sure you click that subscribe button and don't forget to turn on your notifications so you don't miss out on any of my weekly videos. I'll make sure to provide all the links related to this week's video in the description box below. But let's jump into it. There has been no other nutrient that has received as much attention and scrutiny in recent years as carbohydrate. Well, maybe fat, but that's a topic for another video. The internet, vlogs, blogs, and other social media platforms are saturated with polarizing views on how much carbohydrate athletes should consume for optimal health and performance. And there is even a trend towards the low carb and ketogenic dietary approaches lately. Make sure you do subscribe and keep watching for part two, which will touch on this very topical sports nutrition theme. But before we get into all of that, let's go back to the basics. So what are carbohydrates? Well, carbohydrates are one of the three macronutrients. And a macronutrient is a nutrient needed in large amounts that contributes to our daily energy needs. The other two macronutrients are protein and fat, which I'll cover in upcoming videos. Alcohol is also considered part of the macronutrients. However, because it does provide little more than just energy and it shouldn't be consumed excessively due to the adverse health effects, I don't really like to count it as a macronutrient. The simplest form of carbohydrate in our body is glucose, and glucose is our body's preferred fuel source for exercise. It fuels the brain, immune cells, and also muscle. And athletes training or competing at high intensities will almost exclusively use glucose to fuel their performance. So where do we get carbohydrates from? So they are found in foods such as grains, so your breads, your cereals, your pastas, your rice, and your quinoa and other ancient grains. Fruit in the form of fructose. Dairy foods such as milk and yogurt and some dairy alternatives like soy drinks and yogurts. Vegetables, particularly your starchy vegetables like legumes and beans, potato and sweet potato and corn. And meat alternatives like legumes and beans and chickpeas, lentils and tofu. They're also found in some of our treat or discretionary foods like soft drinks, ice cream, sweet biscuits and the like. So when I educate athletes and clients on carbohydrates, I highlight that there are three different types of carbohydrate. The first type is starches. So this is found in grains, starchy vegetables like potato, as well as the legumes and beans. And also natural sugars that are found in fruit and dairy, such as fructose and lactose. And then they're your added sugars. So they're found in foods like soft drinks, lollies, and sports drinks. And we want to be consuming mostly starches and natural sugars. However, in some situations, such as in the preparation before training and competition, it may be more practical to consume foods such as a sports drink or an energy gel that contain these added sugars or carbohydrate to provide the fuel and reduce the risk of an upset tummy. So carbohydrate requirements for sport depend mainly on the individual athlete goals, the duration and intensity of exercise, and the characteristics of each sport. Much of the early research in carbohydrate metabolism and exercise focused on the restoration of muscle glycogen or fuel between training and competition to prevent and delay fatigue. And it was thought that all athletes should consume a high carbohydrate diet all of the time to optimize performance and promote recovery between training and competition sessions. However, these guidelines were misinterpreted. Carbohydrate is indeed needed for optimal performance, but intake should be fine-tuned with individual consideration of total energy needs, specific training needs, and feedback from training and competition. So a sliding scale can be used to work out daily fueling needs with carbohydrate to account for training and competition. And as you can see in this graphic, we have a range of carbohydrate requirements in grams of carbohydrate per kilogram of body mass per day. And down below, you can see this indicated by the red arrow. So as an example, a gymnast, diver, weightlifter, or dancer may need around 3 to 5 grams of carbohydrate per kilogram per day. whereas a marathon runner or a triathlete may need upwards of 8 to 10 grams of carbohydrate per kilogram per day. And even with these sporting examples, athletes could have individual needs, such as differing energy and nutrient requirements and body composition goals. They may also be at different stages of their training cycle or program, and this will require them to adjust their carbohydrate intake on this sliding scale to make sure they meet their needs. So as you can see, it can be quite a complex situation, and this is where a performance dietitian becomes a valuable member of your team. Performance dietitians possess a thorough knowledge of the human energy systems and the substrates needed to fuel these systems. And this is key in determining the amount of carbohydrate that you need every day, as well as around competition, for example, pre, during and post event. I'll make sure to provide links in the description box below with some websites to help you find your own performance dietitian near you. So we've just covered off the basics of carbohydrates, what types of foods contain carbohydrate, and daily athlete requirements of carbohydrate. In part 2, I'm going to explore the concept of carbohydrate availability and the lower carb approach, so make sure you keep watching. If you've liked what you've heard in this video, give it a thumbs up, share this video, and add your comments below. That's it from me for now. I look forward to seeing you again in the next video. Fonda out.